This program is produced by Eagle Mountain Apostolic Resource Center. To find additional episodes of this program, as well as other content, visit eaglemountain.tv.
Hey everybody, welcome to Together We Build. My name is Mr. Sin.
You apish, beast-eating abomination.
Are you kidding me?
Okay, here we go. What is a group of pigs called?
A potluck?
How are you doing there, Foxy? Finding out what you're doing after this show. Maybe we could go grab some drinks or something. What do you say?
No, thanks.
I for sure will go in there to get that. Give me that thing.
No, it's not safe in my shirt.
Right here.
From you.
Hey everyone, welcome to Together We Build. My name is Chris Behnke and her name is
Prudence O'Haire. That's me.
That wasn't that exciting of an intro. It was medium. It was medium. Okay, this is part 2 of a amazing series that we're doing on mental health in the church, and I think it's super important actually. And this is part 2. So if you haven't seen part 1, watch this one first since you already started it, and then go watch the other one. You definitely want to do that. You can find the link in the show notes. You for sure should do that. So we're gonna dig into it, Prudence. But before we do that, do you need me to impress you with my vast knowledge again?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Where are most of the U.S. gold reserves stored?
Fort Knox.
I'll check that in just a second.
Okay.
Now let's just check it now. Yep, Fort Knox.
The reserves that are no longer.
What is that? An actual, like...
It's a massive secured location where they store crazy stuff like gold.
Huh. I didn't know that.
I'm not sure where it is. I feel like it's in the Midwest. I'm looking it up right now.
Okay.
Where is...
What does the abbreviation VIP stand for?
That's in Fort Knox, Kentucky. VIP, very important person.
Yeah, very important person. Okay. Is a penguin a bird?
Yes.
No, it's a mammal, I believe. Oh, yes, but it cannot fly. I was thinking because
Yeah, you're wrong.
But no,
Lays
wait a
eggs.
minute. Okay, I must be confusing it with a pigeon.
Pigeons are for sure birds.
Yeah, but they feed their babies with milk.
I don't believe so.
I think they do. We've had this argument before. Now you got to look it up.
Yes. Pigeons do feed their young with nutritious white liquid called crop milk, which is similar to mammalian
What
milk,
color
but not the same.
is the uppermost part of a rainbow?
Oh, no idea.
I think
Purple?
The bottom is the purple. and
All I can think
blue.
about is Taste the Rainbow.
It's
Was that
got to
Lucky
be
Charms?
like yellow, right?
Charms, Taste the Rainbow. What is Taste the Rainbow?
Let's see.
Taste
It's red.
the
Red is the very top rung of a rainbow.
slogan. Who is Taste the Rainbow? Name it.
don't
obviously. It's so
know.
obvious now that I said it. Oh my goodness. Yes, you do. You for sure know.
What is the main?
Wait, Taste the Rainbow. Who is it?
Is it Trix?
Skittles.
Skittles.
It's so obvious. It's so obvious. Okay, go ahead.
What is the main objective of the Swiss Guard?
Swiss Guard. Guard Swiss cheese, obviously. I actually feel like I should know, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think we've known this before. To protect the Pope and the Vatican.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
What is the capital of India? Think meats.
Delhi.
New Delhi. It's New Delhi.
Yeah,
Is the capital of India.
obviously.
Okay.
Think.
What
Okay, from now
expensive
on-
mushrooms
Okay,
are
hold on.
found with the help of specially trained dogs and pigs?
Chanterelles. From now on, don't.
No, it's truffles.
Oh, that's so obvious. Truffle hunters.
Truffle
Pigs.
hunters.
If you would have said specially trained pigs, I would have known because they have truffle hunting pigs.
All right, let's move on to our topic.
Chanterelles. What kind of stupid answer is that? It's obviously truffles. You know, some of these truffles, like black truffles, weird truffles, are worth like tons of money.
I know.
Like crazy.
I don't know.
Who would have thought that fungus would be that valuable?
I don't know.
Whenever I hear the word
Well, I mean,
fungus,
who would have thought that rocks would be valuable?
You mean like diamonds and rubies? And
Yeah.
Diamonds and rubies and emeralds and stuff.
It's
Okay.
weird.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Forget the monetary thing, which is kind of hard. But if you put the monetary part aside, what do you think the best jewel is for jewelry? Like the most not for jewelry, the most beautiful jewel.
Well, I don't know. You know, it is really said that it's basically of human opinion on the most valuable.
Well, obviously, I'm asking your
I would
human
say
opinion,
the
Prudence.
most rare is probably the most valuable.
No, not the most valuable. The most beautiful.
Oh,
Definitely different.
I don't know because I really like them, most of them.
I really like the jewels. All right. Let's just get into this. So this is Mental Health in the Church, where faith meets psychology, part 2. Bum, bada, bum, bum, bum. Let's get into it now. So in part 1, I just literally deleted all my notes from part 1 so I wouldn't go back to them accidentally, and now I can't refer to them. So in part 1, we talked about how we need to break off the stigma. We need to make sure that we're bathing this stuff in prayer. We need to make sure we're not lumping everything together and thinking that we have a solution to every kind of mental health issue. We need to that there is a place for deliverance and inner healing ministry, and there's a place for counseling, and there's a place for medications, and there's a place for, what was the other thing we talked about?
I think that's probably it.
Good enough. By the way, here's your recap. Go watch the first episode of the series. So let's just jump back into it, and let's just talk about the difference when you're having a difficult time, the difference of what it's like to have a community around you and what it's like to not have a community around you. I think this is also something you can speak to really well, because there's been seasons where we've gone through very difficult times and we've literally felt totally on our own, by ourselves, very lonely. And there's been times where we go through very difficult seasons and we've had loving, caring people that we know are there for us regardless, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. So how does this tie in to mental health?
What I'm saying is let's talk about the power, the effectiveness, and the importance of having a community around you to support you. That's what I'm going after.
Oh, yeah. Well, what was one of the very first things we read in Genesis when God was building out everything? He said it's not good for man to be alone.
Right.
So he was going to build a helper for him.
Yeah.
So we know even just from that point and why God made a mate for Adam, that God knew that we shouldn't be alone. We weren't designed to be alone. And when we feel alone, we feel alone.
Yeah.
And it's an ugly feeling, and it can do a lot of damage to us when we are isolated from people, especially people that are encouraging and know who the Lord is. I mean, there's a big difference. Mm-hmm. You don't want to just go out and find anyone just because you're lonely. It's really better to be alone than to have bad company, in my opinion. And I think that that's probably something we can find in Scripture too.
Yeah.
So finding people that are healed and whole and set upright is important to be around those kinds of people.
And speaking from, our experience, I know there's been these seasons where we've gone through this stuff. How important has it been for you
For
to have a community of people that you know are there for you versus being alone?
So it's not always just easy to just go out and find buddies and to find friends. I mean, we'd like to think that it is, but the truth is that it takes time to develop relationships. And if you can find a community of believers where it goes faster because the people there are definitely healed and there for you without a lot of time in between, you found a real treasure. Mm-hmm. But the truth of it is, and I think all of us know this, is that it takes a lot of time and effort to build out relationships where we can feel safe enough to call them or text them when we're having trouble.
And would you also say, I mean, I feel like this is true, but would you also agree with this, Prudence, that doesn't happen by accident?
No. It doesn't happen by accident. We have to do these things on purpose, and we have to actively go after relationships. A lot of relationships just don't find us. And I mean, I have experienced periods of my life where I've gone after relationships after relationship after relationship, and it seemed to just fall flat. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the Lord has his reasons, and possibly the devil had interference in them too. It's just, it just really drove me deeper into holding on to the Lord even more so, because he became my go-to when I was feeling poor about it or bad about it, you know. Having the Lord as the established root system and foundational piece for us is imperative before we start building out human relationships, because we don't want to use human beings as our security blanket for relationships, because they are going to fail us at some point.
Right.
We're going to run into issues and problems.
Right.
And so if we don't have that foundational basic piece of friendship and relationship built out with the Lord to where we can feel secure in him first, it's going to not go well for us. And it's going to, you know, it's like building your house on the sand.
Yeah. So I think that one of the things we touched on last episode and just what you're talking about now that kind of leads us beautifully into this that I want to build on is there's not like a single solution that fits every time.
Right.
So how do you see in a practical way, like this stuff working together? Like, is there a scenario where you're like going to counseling and you're also getting inner healing ministry while you're on medication? Is that, you know?
I mean, it can be a scenario for somebody out there. It definitely is, I'm sure.
So what I'm hearing you say is we need to be thinking about holistically solving the problem, not putting a Band-Aid on it, but that may look like something like that. Like that might look like something different than what, you know, for what worked for Sally, what worked for Susie, and what worked for Paul might not be what works for Prudence.
Right. Well, we all have our baggage of emotions and things, memory baggage, I guess it would be.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe that. And then we've got natural imbalances in our bodies that occur.
Right.
So everybody is different in what they might be out of balance in or need help with.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not a one size fits all, although I would definitely encourage deliverance, inner healing ministry for everyone that is a believer. Mm-hmm. That is definitely a wipe the slate clean. Let's clean house spiritually and emotionally. And it doesn't just mean it's going to solve all your problems, but it does clean out a lot of cobwebs and get you started in the right space.
And I feel like too, like one of the things that I think is really careful that we need to be careful not to do is to believe we have a good understanding of everything that's happening in someone else's life, because people don't actually fully understand their own motivations. In fact, there's a study that I reference from this doctor named Tasha Urich, who is a clinical psychologist, and she did this massive study. And she found out that see, now I can't remember the exact percentages, but let's just go with 90. I think it's higher than that. I think it's
I think you said 97%.
90, I think it's 97, but let's just say 90%. 90% of people don't actually understand. No, 97% of people believe they understand their motivations, but only 15% do. Is what it was. So pretty much everybody thinks they got themselves figured out, but only 15% do. So if that's true, it means for sure we shouldn't be trying to think we know everyone else.
Right.
If it's very likely we don't know ourselves.
Yeah.
So this is why discernment is so important. And this is why it's important to have a well-rounded approach when kind of approaching, these difficult
and I
things.
think that, there are tools that have been developed, tools that the Lord has given people ideas on building out to help us in the process of getting ourselves in alignment with Him. And I think that it is a really big mistake for Christians to say that there is no such thing, that all of those are from the devil, that none of that is helpful. That is a really, really ignorant thing to say, because we're using all sorts of tools every single day that came via humans' inventions, via possibly heavenly places.
You mean the fact that they're watching this stream over the internet and it's being recorded on video cameras?
Or the cars that we're driving around, the tools like a laptop or a phone, medications you get from the doctor's office where you go to get your back adjusted or something of this nature. Like, God has given us things and we need to be smart about them. We need to be aware about them and we need to be smart about them, and just flushing certain things down the toilet because you don't want to be vulnerable in that space is not okay.
So what I hear you saying is that we need to, for some reason, sometimes in the church, we throw away things like medication, but we don't throw away things like our car. And we need to remember that God has given people, He has chosen throughout all of Scripture and all of time, He has chosen to give people solutions to the world's problems and to bring a kingdom-minded solution to people. Now, people have an opportunity to corrupt that stuff.
Yeah.
But what I hear you saying is we should be smart and we should be okay using the resources that are available through the people that God made.
Right.
But at the same time, we should also recognize that He is the healer and He wants to heal us and He's not too busy to heal us.
I think that we can get really religious about some of these things. I mean, making statements like, I don't go to the doctor. The Lord is my healer. Like, what, you think you're going to get like a bonus in heaven because you didn't go to the doctor? Well,
and here's the thing I would say to that. By the way, I believe in supernatural healing, and I believe you don't always end up needing to go to the doctor. Okay. So I 100% believe in that. But here's the thing. What if God specifically designed somebody named Ted to be this amazing physician to help solve your problem? And you're rolling around with the problem, complaining that God hasn't healed it yet, but He actually made Ted to help you with this.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So how do we make sure we don't do that in a church where we're trying to figure all this out?
Yep. We got to leave a lot of space for the Lord and His discernment, and, try to hear and listen and be smart about it. I think it's just, we take things too far sometimes. And, a lot of times.
When you say we take things too far, what do you mean specifically?
Well, we take things too far in a direction of extremism where maybe we shouldn't be doing that.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And
there is help that God designed out there in the ways of people able to help you with stuff, but not all the methods is something maybe He's approved of.
Right.
So we got to be careful about that too.
Right. Yeah.
But just like with anything, It's just with anything.
Yeah.
We all need to be running around with our discernment caps on.
We should for sure get some merch, a discernment cap. Okay, I'm making a note of that right now. I'm making a note. Okay, I actually have a merch. Okay, merch.
I mean,
merch ideas. Okay, a hat. Here we go. Adding it right now. A cap that says discernment. A discernment cap. I love that. So speaking of discernment caps, I think one of the most powerful tools the enemy uses to facilitate this kind of unhealthy mental scenarios is shame and guilt. Because what happens is something goes wrong, and then we start feeling shame for it, and then we start feeling like God doesn't really want to heal us, and then we start feeling like it's not worth it to go to the doctor, to get the deliverance, to get counseling. It's like it's not worth it. We're not worth it.
Yeah.
We should just, what do they say? Suck it up, buttercup.
Yep.
And deal with it. Mm-hmm. There's no crying in baseball.
I don't know. I didn't play baseball, so I don't know if there's crying.
That's a movie reference, babe. How do we do a better job facilitating a kingdom approach to this stuff in the church and with the people we care about?
Well, I think really talking about our own stories and our own testimony of us figuring a lot of these things out ourselves is really helpful and important, because it's not really something that we like to. Well, I think there's two different schools of thought on showing that we have problems with shame or guilt or, some of those other unpleasantries. Some of us are more than willing to just display them all the time, and we actually use them as kind of a badge in a sense. Where
we use guilt as a badge?
Yeah, it's just like, oh, look how holy I am. I'm so poor in the spirit. It's just, I am really getting some stuff in heaven. I know it because I'm such a humble person, and I'm just so broken, and I'm just a sinner saved by grace, and just look at all this junk that I'm carrying. Isn't it great?
They call that worm theology.
Yeah. Bad.
So when we see that, I guess one question is, when we see that happening either in ourselves or the people we care about, what do? Just call it out? Throw a book at them?
Is that
hit them in the head with the 1,200 words you should know?
The scripture says that my sheep know my voice. That kind of junk is not the Lord's voice.
You're saying we should recognize the non-Lord in that.
Yes, we should. And, we can't make people do anything they don't want to do. You can talk to them until they're blue in the face, but they are not going to do what they don't want to do.
That is so unbelievably true.
So, I think really asking pointed questions of people that are in that space and having them answer those own questions is probably the best way to help people to start seeing that they're in a place where they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And that there is hope to come out of that. Because I think another problem with the church is that we think that this is all normal.
What's all normal?
That mindset of shame, of guilt, of feeling ugly, just all of these nasty negative things. We think that this is normal.
Right.
We think that the only thing that's involved with becoming saved is that we got saved.
Like a ticket.
Yeah. We're not aware that we are called into health. We're not.
Talk about that called into health thing.
We are called to be healthy and whole.
Yeah.
He came to give us abundant life. How are you going to have abundant life if you're running around with all of that junk behind you?
It's definitely not very efficient.
No, it's not efficient. And nobody wants what you have because it's not any different than the world. So we're called to be different. Mm-hmm. We're called to be cleaned up.
Yeah.
And that doesn't just happen when you get baptized.
A city set on a hill doesn't seem like worm theology to me. We're called to be a city set on a hill.
Yeah, nobody wants to be a worm. Like, I don't want to be a worm.
No, you don't, Prudence.
So anyway, I'm not sure if we're getting derailed here or not.
No,
but
we're not. This is dead on, because here's why. Here's why. I think one of the most important things we need to understand is that God actually wants us to be healthy.
Yes.
And because once we have that understanding.
And we're not talking about just biceps here. We're talking about emotional health is just very important.
Once we believe that, which is true, by the way, it's true. Mm-hmm. Once we believe that, got it? Once we understand the truth of that, then we have the next step, which is, well, how do we get healthy?
Yes, exactly. But there is
you
definitely
brought this up in the last episode. What did Jesus say to the guy with the mat? He said, "Get up and walk. Roll your mat up and go."
Yeah.
It wasn't like he asked him to participate, which what I love about the way Jesus did his miracles is he often, not always, but he often had them do stuff.
Yeah,
and
he did.
He didn't have them do the same thing every time. I think he very purposefully does not want us to try to figure out formulas and employ them.
Well,
wants it to be about
let
the
me tell you
relationship.
that I believe that he did that so the devil couldn't copy him. Because the devil is a copycat. The way that he does all of his little spells, incantations, the way that he goes about, the demonic goes about healing people. And yes, there is power in that. Mm-hmm. They do have ways of imitating healing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So this is all true stuff. But if you watch the way that the devil does stuff, it's always very much the same way.
Yeah. So with all that said, here's where I want to go in the remaining 5 minutes and 7 seconds that we have. We say this all the time. I say this all the time in training, in schools, and sermons, and everything. You're made on purpose for a purpose before the foundations of the earth. In other words, God designed you for a reason, and you're here for a reason, not by accident. And he actually cared about designing you the way that you are. Okay. So if we just believe that it doesn't really matter and God doesn't really care about our healing and we leave ourselves unhealed, do you think, or how effective do you think we will be able to carry out the purposes that he made us for? So in other words, if he made you to, I don't know, do something great, invent a new kind of water bottle, okay? But you're stuck in radical unhealth and you believe God doesn't care enough to heal you and you stay in radical unhealth, will you invent the new water bottle? Likely not. So I would propose, pretty selfish and pretty important to make sure. Here's taking it one step further. Let's say that he kind of purposefully crafted you to be part of a specific thing that helped people come to Jesus, but you're stuck in unhealth. Other people's breakthrough your health is important to other people's breakthrough. Now, I believe God will, if you say no to what he's made you for, he will do it with someone else. So God's going to get the job done, okay? God's going to get the job done, but he uses, throughout Scripture all over the place, he uses people. He has chosen an approach that uses the people that he made to do what he wants to do on the earth. And you're not going to be able to do that if you're stuck believing that he doesn't care about your healing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there needs to be a mind check on what we actually believe. And we've just got to get it through our heads. We've got to get it through our heads that dysfunction is not normal. We've got to
denormalize the dysfunction?
Yes, we do.
We need to normalize function.
Because right now we just think that the only thing that matters is that we love Jesus and got ourselves baptized and saved. Whereas there's so many more other pieces and things that we need to be doing action-wise to come into a state of completion, which doesn't happen till we die, but we are called to keep going upwards on the ladder towards heavenly places.
Yeah.
Until we're dead. It's a constant journey of growth. We don't stop.
An ascension journey.
We don't stop weeding.
Yeah.
And pulling the things out.
Yeah. So I guess, as we kind of wrap this up and just want to encourage people, I would just encourage you to think about this. Psalm 147:3, he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. I feel like that verse alone, by the way, there's hundreds of verses that are similar message to this, which is he cares about the brokenhearted. He cares about the people that need healing, and he wants to heal them. And just like you said, Prudence, he wants to partner with us in that healing, and he wants us invested in that healing, and he wants us to work with him in stepping into what he has for us. So you're worth it is one of the messages that you need to hear. You're worth it. You're worth the effort it takes to go through the healing. But at the same time, we need to be smart about it, and we need to not try and think that we've got it all figured out. And we need to have good discernment, and we need to do the hard things. By the way, this is hard work.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is. It is hard work, but it is probably the most rewarding work you'll ever do, because it opens up so many places and spaces that you didn't know you could go. That's why so many of us don't do it, is because it's hard work.
Yeah.
Don't be lazy.
Prudence says, don't be lazy.
And don't be selfish.
Don't be lazy, don't be selfish. Sometimes the most unselfish thing you could do would be to do the hard work of healing.
Yeah, it's very unselfish.
So, by the way, you benefit from it. Mm-hmm. So it's a double bonus. So, I'm super passionate about this, because I feel like it's one of the most pressing issues that we have today. And I think as we try to figure out how to make the bride what it's supposed to be, the church, what it's supposed to be, who we are, what we're supposed to be, how God really intended us for we need to be bold about this stuff. We need to really be strong about it. So I would just encourage you in that area. I think this is super important. And you know that when you've got, a massive percentage of the population in our country alone that is using, depression, anxiety medication, things like this, that it's a really effective, powerful tool the enemy's using. So we need to be wise about that. We need to tackle it head on. And I just cannot encourage you enough to do the hard work, to do the deliverance, to do the hard work, to go through what is needed. So you can find a ton of amazing resources over at Eagle Mountain. So if you go to eaglemountain.global, you'll find a few things. The first thing you'll find is this show is produced by Eagle Mountain TV. So you can find other amazing shows like this show. You can find that there. You can also find, there's a button that you can find if you click on resources, probably, I think that's where it is, that says Eagle Mountain Transformation Center. We have an amazing inner healing transformation center here at Eagle Mountain. And I'm telling you, we've done a lot of work in this area. We've gone through a full intensive deliverance and have done a lot of inner healing work, and truly is one of the most important things that I believe every Christian should be doing, actually. So there's resources there for you. Definitely check that out. Also, if you just stumbled on this, first of all, go watch the first episode of this 2-part series. Secondly, we're in the middle of season 4 of this show called Together We Build, and that's what this is, with Chris and Prudence. And you can find all the other episodes over on our website, chrisandprudence.com. You can find everything else we're doing from our ministries. She's an author, produces music. I'm an author. We have the Human Nexus, tons of stuff that God has called us to do. You can find out about all of those things at chrisandprudence.com. Highly recommend that you check that out. And last thing I'll say is you owe it to yourself and the people around you, the people that care about you and that you care about, to press into these issues and get after the healing. It's worth it. You're worth it. They're worth it. So I would encourage you to do that. Anything else that you got to say, Prudence?
Oh, I think you wrapped it up great.
Okay, then we're going to end on the cheers button.
Oh.
We'll see you later. We'll see you on the next episode. See you around.